Tutubing Kalabaw Tutubing Karayom. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where we bring the most iconic action stories to life. Today we are diving into a true movie story, Tutubing Kalabaw Tutubing Karayom. Tutubing Kalabaw Tutubing Karayom is a 1977 Filipino action comedy film directed by Armando A. Herrera, starring Fernando Poe Jr. and Nino Muhlach. The plot involves a young man from the countryside who rescues his female friend from a difficult situation and seeks vengeance on those responsible. The film also features actors like Marianne de la Riva, Petito Diaz, and Dencio Padilla. FPJ sa GMA presents the 1977 action comedy film, Tutubing Kalabaw Tutubing Karayom, starring Fernando Poe Jr. and Nino Muhlach. This Sunday, FPJ sa GMA is set to take another restored classic of the king of Philippine movies, Fernando Poe Jr., into the spotlight. FPJ sa GMA kicks off October with 1977 action comedy film Tutubing Kalabaw Tutubing Karayom, starring the legendary action star and former child actor Nino Muhlach. It follows two pickpocketing friends, Nanding, FPJ, and Ponso, Dencio Padilla, whose lives change when they unexpectedly become guardians of a lively 4-year-old boy named Picoy, Nino Muhlach. Through a series of comedic misadventures, the hardened criminals gradually develop a deep bond with the child, transforming from reluctant caretakers to loving father figures in this heartwarming and light-hearted story. Tutubing Kalabaw Tutubing Karayom also stars Dencio Padilla, Marianne de la Riva, Petito Diaz, Deborah Sun, June Gamboa, Angie Farrow, Nello Neo, Victor Bravo, Bello Borja, among others. Produced by FPJ Productions, the movie is directed by Armando A. Herrera and written by Fred Navarro. Fernando Poe Jr. plays Nanding, a pickpocket who becomes the guardian of a young boy, Picoy. A cultural icon is a person or an artifact that is identified by members of a culture as representative of that culture. The process of identification is subjective, and icons are judged by the extent to which they can be seen as an authentic symbol of that culture. When individuals perceive a cultural icon, they relate it to their general perceptions of the cultural identity represented. 1. Cultural icons can also be identified as an authentic representation of the practices of one culture by another. 2. In popular culture and elsewhere, the term iconic is used to describe a wide range of people, places, and things. Some commentators believe that the word iconic is overused. Citation needed. Examples: a red telephone box is a British cultural icon. 3. According to the Canadian Journal of Communication, academic literature has described all of the following as cultural icons: Shakespeare, Oprah, Batman, and of Green Gables, the cowboy, the 1960s female pop singer, the horse, Las Vegas, the library, the Barbie doll, DNA, and the New York Yankees. 4. A web-based survey was set up in 2006 allowing the public to nominate their ideas for national icons of England. 5. And the results show the range of different types of icons associated with an English view of English culture. One example is the red AEC Routemaster London double-decker bus. 6, 7, 8. Matryoshka dolls are seen internationally as cultural icons of Russia. 9. In the former Soviet Union, the hammer and sickle symbol and statues of Vladimir Lenin instead represented the country's most prominent cultural icons. The values, norms, and ideals represented by a cultural icon vary among people who subscribe to it and more widely among others who may interpret cultural icons as symbolizing quite different values. Thus, an apple pie is a cultural icon of the United States, but its significance varies among Americans. National icons can become targets for those opposing or criticizing a regime. For example, crowds destroying statues of Lenin in Eastern Europe after the fall of communism. 10. Or burning the American flag to protest U.S. actions abroad. 11. Religious icons can also become cultural icons in societies where religion and culture are deeply entwined, such as representations of the Madonna in societies with a strong Catholic tradition. 12. Criticism. Describing something as iconic or as an icon has become very common in the popular media. This has drawn criticism from some. 13. For example, a writer in Liverpool Daily Post calls iconic a word that makes my flesh creep, a word pressed into service to describe almost anything. 14. Mark Lawson of the Christian Examiner labeled iconic as an overused word, finding over 18,000 uses of iconic in news stories alone, with another 30,000 for icon. 15. Journalists in search of less cliched alternatives could instead consider distinctive, celebrated, historic, legendary, famous, prominent, famed, popular, renowned, noted, notable, eminent, venerated, leading, distinguished, esteemed, famed, beloved, remarkable, and multiple other synonyms in order to achieve an abstract goal. Architects often plan outside the needs of their clients. The Chicago physician Edith Farnsworth, who commissioned Ludwig Mies van der Rohe in 1945 to design a weekend house in which she could retreat for relaxation, was not impressed by the purism of her Farnsworth house, which cost her a lot of money, and expressed herself to the architect as follows: "I wanted something meaningful, and all I got was this smooth, superficial sophistry." In German, ich wollte etwas Bedeutungsvolles haben, und alles was ich bekam, war dies glatt, oberflächlich. Sophisteria. 3. The Guggenheim Museum Bilbao. Jürgen Tietz, who in the Neuen Zürcher Zeitung 4 critically examines the urge for ever new architectural symbols triggered by the so-called Bilbao effect of Franco Gehry's Guggenheim Museum in the Basque Bilbao, also takes up the fact that you have to see a building yourself. First, this fashion wave reached the metropolises before it reached the smaller cities, because the more distinctive a building is, the better it can be marketed. Well-known buildings ensure that individual locations are immediately recognizable. The Eiffel Tower stands for Paris and the Parthenon for Athens. In the times of globalization, architectural icons are becoming trademarks in the competition between metropolises. At the same time, the growing inflation on the catwalk of architectural images threatens to contribute to general confusion. Did this house stand in Hamburg, Tokyo, or Paris? Was it the museum in Bern, Manchester, or Seoul? Was it the architect Eisenman, Kohlhaas, or Piano? In German, zugleich droht die wachsende Inflation auf dem Catwalk der Architekturbilder zur allgemeinen Verwirrung beizutragen. Stand Diocese House in Hamburg, Tokyo oder Paris? War es das Museum in Bern, Manchester oder Seoul? Heißt der Architekt Eisenman, Kohlhaas oder Piano? The dilemma of this architecture, which is oriented towards the visual effect, is that it must rely on the quick glance. Tietz calls it an architectural fast food that is as easy to consume as possible. In German, ein möglichst konsumierbares architektonisches Fast Food. 4. At the same time, it is often forgotten that what constitutes the quality of architecture can only be experienced on location. But the modernist building sec is also constantly generating new images for worldwide marketing in the architectural circus, ecologically ambitious at Foster, elegantly expressive at Gehry, zigzag. Deconstructed at Leichskin. In German, Doch auch der Baukasten der modernen Generierung laufen neue Bilder für die weltweit Vermarktung im Architekturzirkus, ökologisch ambitioniert bei Foster, elegant expressive bei Gary, Zacket deconstruiert bei Liveskin. 4. However, these computer design, constructed marketing strategies threaten, according to Tietz, to turn architecture into a cliché that is full of Potemkin villages. 4. Some examples. An example of this is the Seagram building in New York, which became the icon of the modern skyscraper and in the following decades the most imitated example of its kind worldwide. The construction of the Sydney Opera House was part of a rethinking of 1950s architecture. As icons of a place or a time, today one rather erects buildings like the Opera House in Sydney or the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao. However, they have a similar function as the colossal statues and shape the image of the respective city internationally. A gay icon is a public figure who is regarded as a cultural icon by members of the LGBTQ community. 1. Such figures usually have a devoted LGBTQ fanbase and act as allies to the LGBTQ community, often through their work. 1. Or they have been openly appreciative of their gay fanbase. 2. Many gay icons also have a camp aesthetic style, which is part of their appeal to LGBTQ individuals. 3. The most widely recognized gay icons tend to be actresses and singers who have garnered large LGBTQ fan bases, such as Judy Garland, Cher, Madonna, Whitney Houston, and Janet Jackson. However, the label can also be applied to individuals in politics, sports, literature, and other mediums, as well as historical figures deemed relatable to LGBTQ causes. Prominent entertainers considered to be gay icons often incorporate themes of acceptance, self-love, and sexuality in their work. Gay icons of all orientations within the LGBTQ community have acknowledged the role that their gay fans have played in their success. Variations and terminology. It has been argued that the gay icon label exists primarily for public figures held as cultural icons specifically by gay men. 2. Other labels and variations include Madonna at the 24th GLAAD Media Awards in New York City in 2013. Dressed as a Cub Scout in protest of the ban on homosexual scouts and scout leaders. Many celebrities have responded positively to being regarded as gay icons, several noting the loyalty of their gay fans. Eartha Kitt and Cher have credited gay fans with keeping them going at times when their careers had faltered. 11. Madonna has performed at several gay-related events and acknowledged the influence of her LGBT fan base. I wouldn't have a career if it weren't for the gay community. 12. Madonna has acknowledged and embraced her gay following throughout her career, even making several references to the gay community in her songs or performances, and performed at several gay clubs. She has declared in interviews that some of her best friends are gay and that she adores gay people and refers to herself as the biggest gay icon of all times. 13. She also has been quoted in television interviews in the early 1990s as declaring the big problem in America at the time was homophobia. In June 1999, Whitney Houston gave a surprise performance at the 13th annual New York City Lesbian and Gay Pride Dance at one of the city's West Side piers. 15. According to Instinct magazine, Houston's unannounced performance at the piers ushered in a new era that would eventually make high-profile artists performing at LGBTQ events virtually commonplace. 15. Before hitting the stage, Houston was asked by NTV VJ John Norris why she decided to attend the event. Houston replied, "We're all God's children, honey." 15. In May 2000, Houston made the cover of Out magazine. 16. Kylie Minogue has acknowledged the perception of herself as a gay icon and has performed at such events as the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. Asked to explain the reason for her large gay fanbase, Minogue replied, "It's always difficult for me to give the definitive answer because I don't have it. My gay audience has been with me from the beginning, they kind of adopted me. She noted that she differed from many gay icons who were seen as tragic figures, with the comment, "I've had a lot of tragic hairdos and outfits. I think that makes up for it." Lady Gaga a vigil for the homophobic Orlando attacks in 2016. Lady Gaga has acknowledged and credited her gay following for launching then supporting her career, stating, among other examples, "When I started in the mainstream it was the gays that lifted me up, and that, because of the gay community I'm where I am today." As a way to thank her gay audience for allowing her to perform her first album in gay clubs before she was invited to perform at straight ones, she often debuted her new albums at gay clubs. Along her career, she also dedicated a Much Music Video Award win, as well as her Alejandro music video, to gay people, frequently praised her gay entourage for the positive impact they had on her life and often gave a place to different queer crowds in her songs, performances, music videos as well as in the visuals of her makeup live. Lady Gaga is known for her fights as an LGBT activist and attended numerous LGBT events such as Pride's and Stonewall Day. Geri Halliwell has consistently acknowledged and accepted her status as a gay icon throughout her career as both a solo artist and member of the Spice Girls, describing a kinship with the gay community and her love and respect for her LGBTQ fans. 25-26. In August 2020, Lea Salonga responded to her gay icon tag, saying, "I'm not actually sure how I am." 27. In the same interview, she continued, "Is it that I stand up for gay rights? Is it that I have siblings, cousins who are also members of the LGBT community?" She has also acknowledged the LGBTQ presence in musical theater and stated that she has worked closely with members of the LGBT community for her entire career. 28. In September 2022, after playing the role of a queer mom in Pretty Little Liars, Original Sin, she said that, "If there is someone for whom this really resonates, and see these characters and go, oh my gosh, that's me, and I'm not treated as a joke, it's great." A pop icon is a celebrity, character, or object whose exposure in popular culture is regarded as constituting a defining characteristic of a given society or era. The usage of the term is largely subjective since there are no definitively objective criteria. The categorization is usually associated with elements such as longevity, ubiquity, and distinction. Moreover, pop icon status is distinguishable from other kinds of notability outside pop culture, such as with historic figures. Some historic figures are recognized as having reached pop icon status during their era, and such status may continue into the present. Pop icons of previous eras include Benjamin Franklin, 1, and Mozart, 2. Attributes and origins. Semiotician Marcel Dancy attributed Madonna a catalyst role for the usage of the word icon in celebrity culture. Historians Asa Briggs and Peter Burke explained that term iconography would pass into high culture, and later in the 20th century, into popular culture, where icon refers to a secular celebrity like Madonna. 3. She probably had a catalyst role, as Marcel Dancy, a professor of semiotics and linguistic anthropology at the University of Toronto, cited in Language, Society, and New Media, Sociolinguistics that the word icon is a term of religious origin and arguably used for the first time in celebrity culture to describe the American pop singer Madonna. 4. Dancy also asserts that the word is now used in reference to any widely known celebrity, male or female. 4. Some international reference works such as Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary and the Diccionario Panhispanico de Dudas have included Madonna's name to illustrate the new meaning of icon. 5. 6. After The Advocate called her the greatest gay icon, Guy Babineau from Extra magazine stated in 2008, I'm old enough to remember when people weren't called icons. Often pop icon status implies distinguished association with a societal ideal or archetype. It is not uncommon for iconic figures to have a nickname or sobriquet that is used to emphasize this association. Sometimes the very name of such individuals is even used as a synonym for common words or ideas. Some fictional characters, such as Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, The Simpsons, 12, Harry Potter, 13, Goku, 14, Sailor Moon, 15, Alice, 16, Sheriff Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and Willy Wonka are regarded as pop icons. Even inanimate objects have been recognized as pop icons. Some figures attain transitory or context-specific pop icon status for particular events that captivate public attention, such as in the case of the O.J. Simpson trial. Whereas a culture can usually be physically identified, and its group characteristics easily observed, celebrity culture exists solely as a collection of individuals' desires for increased celebrity viewing. Celebrities themselves do not form a cohesive and identifiable group with which they identify themselves, but are rather found across a spectrum of activities and communities including acting, politics, fashion, sports, and music. This culture is created when there is common knowledge within a society that people are interested in celebrities and are willing to alter their own lives to take part in celebrities' lives. The culture is first defined by factors outside of celebrities themselves and then augmented by celebrities' involvement within that publicly constructed culture. Celebrity culture has become a part of everyday society and functions as a form of entertainment. 1. Today, everyday citizens play an important role in the perpetuation of celebrity culture by constantly checking the whereabouts of celebrities, their friends, the trends within celebrity culture, and the general lives of celebrity via media. 1. Celebrity culture is now reflected in social norms and values because of the extreme citizen involvement. 2. Today, as it is now used as entertainment. Celebrity culture is viewed as a form of escapism from reality and a means of preoccupation for everyday people. 3. History. Celebrity culture in the United States began in the late 19th century as the nouveau riches sought personal publicity in the society columns and magazines of the day. While philanthropists, politicians, and other public figures were the best-known New Yorkers in the 1870s, by the 1890s, the new elite were people celebrated for their gossip value. 4. Film historian Richard Schickel cites the beginning of the modern celebrity system to the period between 1895 and 1925, in the 1930s and 40s. The modern culture of celebrity was fashioned through the columns of Walter Winchell, America's most celebrated gossip writer. 4. 254. Promotion from celebrities. There have been multiple phases, in the popularity of celebrity culture. Some examples include the broadcasting of television programs where human beings could reach wider audiences and individuals could be given rise to fame. As different technologies were released, the manipulation of audiences changed, and the reaches of celebrity culture has greatly expanded. Entrepreneurial individuals began to recognize the financial value in purposefully promoting certain individuals, and thus a consumer approach to celebrities as brands emerged. A culture began to take shape as consumers accepted celebrities as a part of society. This acceptance, along with shrewd marketing, perpetuates celebrity culture with its constantly shifting customs and beliefs. Citation needed. Celebrity culture can be viewed as synonymous with celebrity industry, where celebrities are treated as products to be sold. Celebrity culture differs from consumer culture in that celebrity culture is a single aspect of consumer culture. Celebrity culture could not exist without consumer culture, as people are consistently buying magazines, apps for celebrities, and other celebrity-related merchandise. Consumers' choices are thus influenced by celebrities' choices. By following celebrities, consumers are invited to take part in the collective society created by the existence of celebrity culture, unknowingly perpetuated by the consumers themselves. Participants of the celebrity culture phenomenon also include the celebrities themselves, being aware they can brand themselves and achieve financial gains through their own fame and status, apart from the foundation of their celebrity pre-branding. To people who have grown tired of self-government, the belief in kings and queens and fairy tales seems easier and more comfortable than the practice of politics, wrote Lewis Lapham in his book, The Wish for Kings. Citation needed. This notion is the basis for the naturally occurring relationship between regular men and women, and those on a pedestal. The famous religious books of the world's faiths are replete with examples of individuals who are well known by the general public. Citation needed. Some specify of the pharaohs of ancient Egypt set in motion devices to ensure their own fame for centuries to come. Celebrity culture, once restricted to royalty and biblical/mythical figures, has pervaded many sectors of society including business, publishing, and even academia. The celebrities. With every scientific advance, names have become attached to discoveries. Especially for large contributions to humanity, the contributor is usually regarded honorably. Mass media has increased the exposure and power of celebrity. A trend has developed that celebrity carries with it increasingly more social capital than in earlier times. Citation needed. Each nation or cultural community, linguistic, ethnic, religious, has its own independent celebrity system, but this is becoming less the case due to globalization, see J-pop or K-pop. Perpetuation of celebrity culture. According to Oliver Dreisens, celebrities' social and cultural prominence can be traced back to the success of the mass media. 6. The various forms of mass media allowed for the spread of new images and branding of celebrities. Especially with the inclusion of televisions in the average home, there became more of a familiarity with the people or celebrities now in our homes. 7. Media surrounding celebrities has heavily influenced not only celebrity culture but the general social environment in our lives. 8. Celebrities are known to not only influence what we buy but many other things such as body image, career aspirations, and politics. Richard Dyer has stated that celebrity culture is bound up with the condition of global capitalism in which individuals are seen to determine society. 9. Newer technologies, such as cable television and 24/7 coverage, have made today's celebrities manufactured for mass consumption, as opposed to the celebrities of the 30s and the 50s who were more self-made. 10. 24/7 coverage pushed for more programming and people to fill the extra time. With this evolved more shows and celebrities who partook in the additional screen time. Reality television has been a large part of fostering a new celebrity culture that is more interchangeable and recognizable. 11. Cable television and social media sites such as YouTube have made overnight sensations which have perpetuated today's perception of celebrity culture. 11. 493 celebrities such as Justin Bieber, who rose to immense fame after being discovered on YouTube, are argued to elicit emotional ties and self-reflexiveness that invoke a seemingly personal connection. 11. This can be seen with some fans, especially female fans, feeling like they have a certain ownership or connection over a celebrity. 12. At the same time, the love-hate relationship that many popular media, e.g. British tabloid newspapers, foster between the public and celebrities, whom they admire, envy and also despise, helps to generate continuing interest in celebrity news, and ironically, to promote the cult of celebrity. 13. Celebrity and political culture. Main article, Celebrity Influence in Politics. Icon. This section needs additional citations for verification. Please help improve this article by adding citations to reliable sources in this section. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. June 2018, learn how and when to remove this message. Celebrities and politics have interacted in mainly one of two ways. The first way is celebrity politicians, which crosses an elected office of government with celebritization. The second way is with political activism, a newly popular method which avoids directly participating in government itself. 14. Celebrity politicians. Celebrity politicians can be divided into two categories: celebrities that go to the government and hold an elected office, and politicians that become celebrities. 14. Celebrities that have held a government office are not uncommon. Donald Trump is an example of one. A businessman and real estate dealer who has licensed his name to properties and other brands, Trump gained national fame when he starred in the television show The Apprentice in 2004 and again during the 2012 presidential election by implying that then-presidential candidate Barack Obama was not a natural-born United States citizen. He then successfully ran for the United States presidency in 2016. 15. Ronald Reagan is another example. He was a career actor that appeared in 53 films over 2 decades. He first became governor of California in 1966 and then became president of the United States in 1980. 16. Politicians have also become celebrities naturally or by copying celebrity traits. The Democratic group, the Squad, is an example. Consisting of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib are 4 Democrat representatives that formed after the 2018 midterm elections, when Ocasio-Cortez posted a picture of the 4 seated together on Instagram, playing off of the colloquial term, squad goals. 17. They have become well known for their outspoken nature in social media and their clashes against other politicians, such as Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi. 18. Katy Perry and Hillary Clinton at the I'm With Her concert, which supported Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential race. There has recently, been an intersection of celebrity and political culture. This is a result of the large platform given to celebrities. Wink with a frown citation needed, as Jane Johnson, a reporter for the popular British celebrity publication Closer observed, the gossip surrounding celebrities is a nationally unifying factor among all social groups. 10. This unification and large platform provided by celebrities has been a point of interest for political leaders and groups to gain further reach within various campaigns. Young adults have had historically lower voter turnout than any other voting age group. Knowing this, politicians and public figures draw from the cultural resources curated by celebrities by mimicking the popular, accessible public persona given off by today's celebrities. 10. As noted by the author Frank Ferretti, politicians self-consciously attempt to either acquire a celebrity image or to associate themselves with individuals who possess this status. 10. This can be seen with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who has become somewhat of a celebrity because of the perception of being personable and supporting progressive, liberal policies. Another example of this was Katy Perry campaigning and performing for Hillary Clinton during the 2016 presidential election. Although celebrity status is widely sought by many people, celebrities are often displeased by their status. Overall, there is a general correlation between success and unhappiness. A study, 23, done in 2008 notes that CEOs are depressed at more than double the rate of the public at large, suggesting that this is not a phenomenon exclusive to celebrities. Research, 24, suggests that people tend to focus more on objective success, i.e., status, wealth, reputation, as benchmarks for success, rather than subjective success, i.e., self-worth, relationships, moral introspection, and as a result become disillusioned with the success they do have. However, celebrities in particular face specific circumstances that cause them to be displeased by their success. Paparazzi is often a problem for celebrities, where celebrities have become increasingly objectified and worshipped by fans. See celebrity worship syndrome, especially in the digital age through social and mass media. 25. This happens because constant exposure to and coverage of these figures leads people to believe that celebrities are their social intimates, who they want to admire, gossip about, or copy habits from. 26. A 2009 study, 27, which anonymously interviewed a number of celebrities, revealed it was a common sentiment that excess paparazzi causes a loss of personal life, lack of anonymity, and feeling of constantly being watched. This causes them to compensate by forming separate identities, one an image offered to the public, and one reserved for moments of privacy and intimacy. Another problem is celebrity marriage. There is research, clarification needed, that suggests child celebrities have poor emotional health in adulthood and often turn to drug abuse. A culture of superficiality in Hollywood, where celebrity status is ranked by an A-list or B-list hierarchy, also contributes to celebrity disillusionment with success. Sometimes people who achieve celebrity status come to regret it. For example, Bart Spring in T. Felt, who came to loathe the reality TV celebrity culture which Big Brother, of which she was the first winner in the world, instigated. Celebrity gossip has become an integral part of American culture, acting as not only a form of entertainment, but a form of social involvement and social order. 1. Gossip allows people to connect and interact with one another, providing a sense of community within society. Through gossip, people are able to affirm their values and ideas by hearing about celebrity struggle via tabloids and other forms of media. The information given to people to consume and discuss allows for civic engagement on a global scale, as there is material to talk about with others than is generally known through gossip. In the U.S., celebrity culture is created and disseminated by television talk shows such as Entertainment Tonight, where actors and music stars promote their latest films and albums, and by many celebrity magazines such as People, Us, and Star. Celebrity culture is a constantly changing topic that grows as technology does. Different platforms are being utilized: Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and TikTok, all of which provide a new outlet for celebrities to express their thoughts. Twitter is constantly changing celebrity views and provides an unmonitored and unfiltered space for opinions to be shared. It provides a platform for celebrities to reshare ideas and safely shares theirs. It also allows for people to comment, making it engaging to fans and followers. Instagram is also growing and continues to be a popular outlet for celebrities, as it provides an outlet for purely pictures. Many of these pictures also include other people who are famous, boosting their image and reaching different fan bases. Lastly, Facebook is still a commonly used platform that many celebrities use, especially older demographics. Many older generations prefer Facebook because it is easy to navigate and people can share and write posts that are of importance to them. Through Instagram's unique format, another layer of celebrity culture was added, allowing celebrities to further their intimacy with followers by sharing selected photos and videos with their audience. With each additional platform a celebrity uses to promote themselves, a wider view is created, thus enhancing the perception of culture. Instagram also recently changed the layout to try to help celebrities become more noticed. They use an algorithm that determines what pictures are at the top of a person's feed and what pictures are at the bottom and are harder to find. 33. Trends of celebrities found on Instagram have a massive cultural impact as the platform allows for people to see and imitate celebrities via clothing, speech, or humor, allowing them to indirectly engage with celebrity culture. 1. Today, Instagram can be used as a platform for marketing as celebrities can be paid huge sums of money for product placement or usage in their posts. A common complaint of modern celebrity culture is that the public, instead of seeking virtues or talents in celebrities, seek those who are the most willing to break ethical boundaries, or those who are most aggressive in self-promotion. In other words, infamy has replaced fame. The social role of the town drunk, the court jester, or the sexually indiscreet are not new, but arguably, according to whom, the glorification of these individuals is. Society selects celebrities that provide the most entertainment and news stories as the most notorious. One possible explanation of this trend is that an artificial importance has been created in order to promote a product or a service, rather than to record a purely biographical event. As more new products are launched in a world market that is constantly expanding, the need for more celebrities has become an industry in itself. Another explanation, used by Chuck Palahniuk, is that this exaggeration of modern celebrity culture is created out of a need for drama and spectacle. In the book Haunted, he describes the pattern of creating a celebrity as a godlike figure, and once this image is created, the desire to destroy it and shame the individual in the most extreme ways possible. Tabloid magazines are the prototype example of this theory. Posthumous fame. Some creators such as poets, artists, musicians, and inventors are little known and little appreciated during their lives but are feted as brilliant innovators after their deaths. A desire to achieve this type of posthumous fame may have motivated Alan Abel, Adam Rich, and Pauly Shore to stage their deaths. In some cases, after historians uncover a creator's role in developing some cultural or technical process, the contributions of these little-known individuals become more widely known. Sometimes a false death mention can cause a person to rethink their legacy. Alfred Nobel founded the Nobel Prizes after an erroneous obituary labeled him a merchant of death due to his invention and selling of dynamite. People who were far more famous after their deaths than during their lifetime, and often were completely or relatively unknown, include painter Bob Ross, Greek philosopher Socrates, scientist Galileo Galilei, romantic poet John Keats, painter Vincent van Gogh, poet and novelist Edgar Allan Poe, singers Eva Cassidy and Nick Drake, comedian Bill Hicks, writer Emily Dickinson, artist Edith Holden, whose 1906 diary was a bestseller when published posthumously in 1977, writer Franz Kafka, singer Jeff Buckley, diarist Anne Frank, philosopher Soren Kierkegaard, musician Robert Johnson, writer John Kennedy Toole, who posthumously won a Pulitzer Prize for fiction 12 years after his death, author Stieg Larsson, who died with his Millennium novels unpublished, musician, artist, and poet Roz Williams, and William Wabelis, the alleged inventor of rugby football. Herostratus, a young Greek man, arsoned the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, in 356 BC to immortalize his name. Although authorities at the time tried to erase him from history and punished people with the death penalty for even merely mentioning his name, he succeeded in achieving lasting fame, as his name is well known today. Popular culture, also called pop culture or mass culture, is generally recognized by members of a society as a set of practices, beliefs, artistic output, also known as popular art, cf. pop art, or mass art, sometimes contrasted with fine art, 1, 2, and objects that are dominant or prevalent in a society at a given point in time. Popular culture also encompasses the activities and feelings produced as a result of interaction with these dominant objects. Mass media, marketing, and the imperatives of mass appeal within capitalism constitute the primary engines of Western popular culture, a system philosopher Theodor Adorno critically termed the culture industry. 3. Heavily influenced in modern times by mass media, this collection of ideas permeates the everyday lives of people in a given society. Therefore, popular culture has a way of influencing an individual's attitudes towards certain topics. However, there are various ways to define pop culture. 5. Because of this, popular culture is something that can be defined in a variety of conflicting ways by different people across different contexts. 6. It is generally viewed in contrast to other forms of culture such as folk culture, working class culture, or high culture, and also from different academic perspectives such as psychoanalysis, structuralism, postmodernism, and more. The common pop culture categories are entertainment, such as film, music, television, literature, and video games, sports, news, as in people/places in the news, politics, fashion, technology, and slang. 7. The examples and perspective in this section deal primarily with the Anglosphere and do not represent a worldwide view of the subject. You may improve this section, discuss the issue on the talk page, or create a new section, as appropriate. July 2021, learn how and when to remove this message. In the past, folk culture functioned analogously to the popular culture of the masses and of the nations. The phrase popular culture was coined in the 19th century or earlier. 9. Traditionally, when popular culture was associated, by whom? With poor education and with the lower classes. 10. As opposed to the official culture and higher education of the upper classes. 11. 12. With the rise of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries, Britain experienced social changes that resulted in increased literacy rates, and with the rise of capitalism and industrialization, people began to spend more money on entertainment, such as commercialized, public houses and sports. Reading also gained traction. Labeling penny dreadfuls the Victorian equivalent of video games, The Guardian in 2016 described penny fiction as Britain's first taste of mass-produced popular culture for the young. 13. A growing consumer culture and an increased capacity for travel via the newly invented railway. The first public railway, Stockton and Darlington Railway, opened in northeast England in 1825. Created both a market for cheap popular literature and the ability for its distribution on a large scale. The first penny serials were published in the 1830s to meet the growing demand. The stress on the distinction from official culture became more pronounced towards the end of the 19th century. 16. By usage that became established by the interbellum period. 17. From the end of World War II, following major cultural and social changes brought by mass media innovations, the meaning of popular culture began to overlap with the connotations of mass culture, media culture, image culture, consumer culture, and culture for mass consumption. 18. The abbreviated form pop for popular, as in pop music, dates from the late 1950s. 19. Although the terms pop and popular are in some cases used interchangeably, and their meaning partially overlap, the term pop is narrower. Pop is specific to something containing qualities of mass appeal, while popular refers to what has gained popularity, regardless of its style. 2021. According to author John Story, there are various definitions of popular culture. 22. The quantitative definition of culture has the problem that too much high culture, e.g., television dramatizations of Jane Austen, is also popular. Pop culture is also defined as the culture that is left over when we have decided what high culture is. Citation needed. However, Many works straddle the boundaries, e.g., William Shakespeare and Charles Dickens, Leo Tolstoy, and George Orwell. A third definition equates pop culture with mass culture and ideas. This is seen as a commercial culture, mass-produced for mass consumption by mass media. 23. From a Western European perspective, this may be compared to American culture. Clarification needed. Alternatively, pop culture can be defined as an authentic culture of the people, but this can be problematic as there are many ways of defining the people. Page needed. Story argued that there is a political dimension to popular culture. Neo-Gramscian hegemony theory sees popular culture as a site of struggle between the resistance of subordinate groups in society and the forces of incorporation operating in the interests of dominant groups in society. A postmodernist approach to popular culture would no longer recognize the distinction between high and popular culture. Story claims that popular culture emerged from the urbanization of the Industrial Revolution. Studies of Shakespeare, by Wyman, Barber, or Bristol, for example, locate much of the characteristic vitality of his drama and its participation in Renaissance popular culture, while contemporary practitioners like Dario Fo and John McGrath use popular culture in its Gramscian sense that includes ancient folk traditions, the Commedia dell'arte, for example. 24, 25. Need quotation to verify. Popular culture is constantly evolving and occurs uniquely in place and time. It forms currents and eddies, and represents a complex of mutually interdependent perspectives and values that influence society and its institutions in various ways. For example, certain currents of pop culture may originate from, or diverge into, a subculture, representing perspectives with which the mainstream popular culture has only limited familiarity. Items of popular culture most typically appeal to a broad spectrum of the public. Important contemporary contributions to understanding what popular culture means have been given by the German researcher Ronald Doss, who studies the impact of extra-European cultures in North America, Asia, and especially in Latin America. Within the realm of popular culture, there exists an organizational culture. From its beginning, popular culture has revolved around classes in society and the pushback between them. Within popular culture, there are two levels that have emerged, high and low. High culture can be described as art and works considered of superior value, historically, aesthetically, and socially. Low culture is regarded by some as that of the lower classes, historically. 26. Folklore. Main article, Folklore. Adaptations based on traditional folklore provide a source of popular culture. 27. This early layer of cultural mainstream still persists today, in a form separate from mass-produced popular culture, propagating by word of mouth rather than via mass media, e.g. in the form of jokes or urban legends. With the widespread use of the Internet from the 1990s, the distinction between mass media and word of mouth has become blurred. Citation needed. Although the folkloric element of popular culture engages heavily with the commercial element, communities amongst the public have their own tastes, and they may not always embrace every cultural or subcultural item sold. Moreover, certain beliefs and opinions about the products of commercial culture may spread by word of mouth, and become modified in the process and in the same manner that folklore evolves. Citation needed. Western popular culture stands persistently accused of functioning as a vast engine of commercialism. This system, critics argue, is designed to privilege products selected and mass-marketed by capitalists. Such criticisms find articulation in the works of Marxist theorists, including luminaries like Herbert Marcuse, Theodor Adorno, Max Horkheimer, Bell Hooks, Antonio Gramsci, Guy Debord, Frederick Jameson, Terry Eagleton, as well as postmodern philosophers such as Jean-François Lyotard, who dissected the commercialization of information under capitalism. 28. The Frankfurt School, particularly Theodor Adorno and Max Horkheimer, delivered critiques through their concept of the culture industry, explored in their seminal Dialectic of Enlightenment. Drawing from Kant, Marx, Nietzsche, and others, they argued that capitalist popular culture is far from an authentic expression of the people. Instead, it constitutes a system churning out homogeneous, standardized products, manufactured to serve the interests of elite domination. Consumer desire for Hollywood films, pop melodies, and disposable bestsellers is not organic, but shaped by the capitalist behemoths, Hollywood studios, record labels, publishing giants, and the elite gatekeepers who dictate which commodities saturate our media, from television screens to print journalism. As Adorno noted, the industry bows to the vote it has itself wigged. 29. This elite dictates commodification based on narrow ideological values, habituating audiences to formulaic conventions that, Adorno contended, stifle genuine intellectual engagement. 30. His work influenced cultural studies, philosophy, and the New Left. Contemporary critique. Main articles: Imperialism and Cultural Imperialism. The Digital Age, as music critic Alex Ross observed in New Yorker, 2014, has only magnified Adorno's relevance. 32. The success of phenomena like the Harry Potter franchise, as critiqued by Jack Sips, exemplifies this mass commercialization and corporate hegemony. Zips contends that culture industry commodities achieve popularity precisely through their homogeneity and adherence to formula. The media, he argues, actively molds children's tastes. 33. Postmodern sociologist Jane Baudrillard presented a stark view of the consumer's role. He argued that individuals are relentlessly conditioned to pursue the maximization of pleasure as a social duty. A failure to participate risks rendering one asocial. 34. His core critique held that products of capitalist culture, especially those marketed as rebellious, can only offer an illusion of defiance. True rebellion is impossible because the system producing these commodities remains firmly controlled by the powerful. 35. Scholarship robustly demonstrates how Western entertainment industries fortify transnational capitalism and cement Western cultural dominance. 36. Consequently, commercial entertainment is less an authentic local expression and more a culture amplified by transnational media conglomerates. 37. Leading to an homogenization of cultural identities, eroding diverse traditions in favor of marketable forms. 38. These conglomerates, vast media empires controlling music labels, film studios, streaming platforms, and news outlets, are often answerable primarily to shareholders demanding ever-increasing returns. 39. This shareholder primacy incentivizes cost-cutting and profit maximization at the expense of ethical considerations, including fair artist compensation beyond the top tier, safe working conditions, and sustainable sourcing. The advertising revenue that underpins free platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify, crucial for promoting stars, is generated through sophisticated surveillance and data extraction, commodifying user attention and privacy on an unprecedented scale. 40. Corporate exploitation. The culture industry not only standardizes taste but also rests upon and obscures a foundation of global exploitation, resource plunder, and the relentless pursuit of shareholder value above human dignity and ecological sustainability. 41. While megastars achieve immense wealth, the system is structured so that the vast majority of revenue flows upwards to platform owners, shareholders, and executives. The success of celebrities becomes a powerful marketing tool for the conglomerate itself, boosting its stock price and attracting investment, while obscuring the exploitative labor practices and environmental damage embedded within its global supply chains. The very devices essential for consuming this culture often rely on minerals mined under appalling conditions. Cobalt and tantalum, critical for electronics, are frequently sourced from mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo using child labor and artisanal miners facing lethal hazards and exploitation, generating vast profits for multinational conglomerates further up the supply chain. The influential feminist scholar Bell Hooks delivers a searing intersectional critique. She argues that commercial celebrities and their branded commodities cannot authentically symbolize liberation while being structurally dependent on, and actively reinforcing, imperialist capitalism and oppressive beauty standards. Hooks dissects figures like Beyoncé not merely as artists, but as nodes within a vast profit machinery. Her global stardom increases the wealth of corporate giants, Pepsi, Adidas, luxury brands, her Ivy Park brand, and the extractive ad revenue engines of platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. Beyoncé's ascent to billionaire status, Hooks contends, exemplifies how such success is built upon and fuels the very systems of patriarchal capitalism it might superficially appear to challenge. Her power derives from, and legitimizes, the industries profiting from exploitation. 43-44. The very structure of mass media facilitates control, as Edward S. Herman and Noam Chomsky argued in their pivotal 1988 work, Manufacturing Consent, The Political Economy of the Mass Media. They posit that a powerful elite, driven by its own interests, controls and manipulates mainstream information flow. Mass media, therefore, operates as a sophisticated system of propaganda. In sum, a propaganda approach to media coverage suggests a systematic and highly political dichotomization in news coverage based on serviceability to important domestic power interests. This should be observable in dichotomized choices of story and in the volume and quality of coverage. Such dichotomization in the mass media is massive and systematic. Not only are choices for publicity and suppression comprehensible in terms of system advantage, but the modes of handling favored and inconvenient materials, placement, tone, context, fullness of treatment, differ in ways that serve political ends. Popular culture has frequently served as a vehicle for imperialist ideologies. John M. Mackenzie highlights how many such products were crafted to glorify the British upper classes and promote imperialist worldviews, rather than reflecting a democratic perspective. With the invention of the printing press in the 16th century, mass-produced, cheap books, pamphlets, and periodicals became widely available to the public. With this, the transmission of common knowledge and ideas was possible. 47. In the 1890s, Nikola Tesla and Guglielmo Marconi created the radiotelegraph, allowing for the modern radio to be born. This led to the radio being able to influence a more listened-to culture, with individuals being able to feel like they have a more direct impact. 48. This radio culture is vital, because it was imperative to advertising, and it introduced the commercial. Films and cinema are highly influential to popular culture, as films as an art form are what people seem to respond to the most. 49, with moving pictures being first captured by Edward Muybridge in 1877, films have evolved into elements that can be cast into different digital formats, spreading to different cultures. The impact of films and cinema are most evident when analyzing in the search of what the films aim to portray. 50. Films are used to seek acceptance and understanding of many subjects because of the influence the films carry. An example of an early representation of this can be seen in Casablanca, 1942. The film introduced war subjects to the public after the United States entered World War II, and it meant to increase pro-war sentiment for the Allies. 51. Films are a known massive influencer. to popular culture, yet not all films create a movement that contributes enough to be part of the popular culture that starts movements. Citation needed. The content must resonate to most of the public so the knowledge in the material connects with the majority. Citation needed. Popular culture is a set of beliefs in trends and entail to change a person's set of ideologies and create social transformation. 52. The beliefs are still a trend that change more rapidly in the modern age that carries a continuation of outpouring media and more specifically films. The trend does not last, but it also carries a different effect based on individuals that can be grouped to generalized groups based on age and education. Citation needed. The creation of culture by films is seen in fandoms, religions, ideologies, and movements. The culture of film is more evident through social media. Social media is an instant source of feedback and creates discussion on films. A repeating event that has been set in modern culture within the trend-setting phase is the creation of movements in social media platforms to defend a featured subject on a film. Popular music is music with wide appeal that is typically distributed to large audiences through the music industry. These forms and styles can be enjoyed and performed by people with little or no musical training. 54. It stands in contrast to both art music, 56, 57, and traditional or folk music. Art music was historically disseminated through the performances of written music, although since the beginning of the recording industry, it is also disseminated through recordings. Traditional music forms such as early blues songs or hymns were passed along orally or to smaller, local audiences. 56. Sports include all forms of competitive physical activity or games which, 58, through casual or organized participation, aim to use, maintain, or improve physical ability and skills while providing enjoyment to participants, and in some cases, entertainment for spectators. 59. The connection between sports and popular culture is significant in recent times because there is an influx of sport history to keep track of. As sports journalists produce quality pieces, more sports museums are developed. And there are various radio, film, and television documentaries. Sport history has embraced popular culture as it has expanded its horizons on elite athletes and governing bodies to the study of everyday activities. It has broadened its perspective by connecting sports and athletes with class, gender, ethnicity, and disability. Sports are becoming more popular in the eyes of society and impacting human culture as they get more invested in the game, and perhaps even play the sports themselves in their neighborhoods. Museums also show sports as popular culture, such as Stuart Clark's The Homes of Football photographic collection in the National Football Museum. 60. Personal branding includes the use of social media to promotion to brands and topics to further good repute among professionals in a given field, produce an iconic relationship between a professional, a brand, and its audience that extends networks past the conventional lines established by the mainstream and to enhance personal visibility. Popular culture is generally recognized by members of a society as a set of the practices, beliefs, and objects that are dominant or prevalent in a society at a given point in time. As celebrities, online identities are extremely important in order to create a brand to line up sponsorships, jobs, and opportunities. As influencers, micro-celebrities, and users constantly need to find new ways to be unique or stay updated with trends in order to maintain followers, views, and likes. 62. For example, Ellen DeGeneres has created her own personal branding through her talk show The Ellen DeGeneres Show. As she developed her brand, we can see the branches she created to extend her fan base, such as Ellen clothing, socks, pet beds, and more. Social media is interactive computer-mediated technologies that facilitate the creation or sharing of information, ideas, career interests, and other forms of expression via virtual communities and networks. Social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, and Snapchat are the most popular applications used on a daily basis by younger generations. Social media tends to be implemented into the daily routine of individuals in our current society. Social media is a vital part of our culture as it continues to impact the forms of communication used to connect with those in our communities, families, or friend groups. 63. We often see that terms or slang are used online that is not used in face-to-face conversations, thus adding to a persona users create through the screens of technology. 63. For example, some individuals respond to situations with a hashtag or emojis. 63. Social media influencers have become trendsetters. 64. Through their direct engagement with large audiences, appending conventional marketing and advertising techniques. Consumer purchase choices have been impacted by fashion partnerships, sponsored material, and outfit ideas offered by influencers. Social media has also made fashion more accessible by fostering uniqueness, expanding the depiction of trends, and facilitating the rise of niche influencers. The influencer-driven fashion industry, nevertheless, has also come under fire for encouraging excessive consumerism, inflated beauty ideals, and labor exploitation. 65. Pop culture has had a lasting influence to the products being released in their time. Many examples of art, books, films, and others have been inspired by pop culture. These include: pop art is an art movement that first emerged in the 1950s as a reaction and a counter to traditional and high-class art by including common and well-known images and references. 66. Artists known during this movement include Eduardo Paolozzi, Richard Hamilton, Larry Rivers, Robert Rauschenberg, and Andy Warhol. 67. Pop music is a wide-ranging genre of music whose characteristics include styles and tones that have a wider and more massive appeal to all kinds of consumers. 68. Oftentimes, many examples of these music contain influences from other pre-existing works. 69. The origins of popular music began in the late 1800s with the inventions of Edison's phonograph and Berliner's gramophone, both of which allowed for music to be available for purchase to the public rather than access to just the elites. Due to the almost non-existent copyright laws, the early 1900s flourished with composers and publishers aiming to make and sell as much music as they could. The hub for this activity was a small area of New York known as Tin Pan Alley, which quickly became one of the major spots for popular music as the demand grew intensely. 70. Technological advances in the 1940s only furthered the success and popularity of the genre. The reel-to-tape recorder was groundbreaking in terms of innovation and served as the baseline for many more transformations this genre and the music industry as a whole will endure. Along with the continued innovation of popular music, multiple subset genres emerged as the new faces of popular music, all with the foundation of jazz and blues. Some of those genres include rock and roll, punk, and hip-hop. 70. Due to the increasing mainstream success of popular music, artists of the genre grew in fame and popularity. A few of the major singers and musicians of this genre include Michael Jackson, Madonna, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber, Elvis Presley, Beatles, Beyoncé, Katy Perry, and Taylor Swift. Popular music will continue to be shaped by and evolve to fit the tastes and preferences of the public.